Are you sure?
Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never ask a bride why she's getting married. Don't wear a skirt on a windy day. Deodorant is not a shower. Don't sniff chili flakes. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
To begin with, congratulations to all of us, because after 3 days of grim news from Paris, we have something to smile about. It's a bronze medal. You might say a mere bronze medal, but remember, no hockey medal is a mere medal, whatever the color. It is a bronze medal. It's a successive bronze for India, which means India is in the top 4 of the world consistently. That is not something that had happened, that we could say until about 5-7 years back. There's been a revival of Indian hockey. Before that, Indian hockey for a long time had struggled to qualify for the World Cup. Olympics had to face the humiliation of going through qualifiers. That is something that the Pakistani hockey team has been reduced to. Pakistani hockey team in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even for a couple of years after that, was in the world class, was definitely ahead of India. That has declined quite precipitously. India, on the other hand, has staged a comeback. So this Indian team is a world-class team. It is so good that after the match today, where I think they played their scrappiest hockey of the entire Olympics, maybe they were a bit tensed up, they were scrappy, they were taking the bait from the Spaniards and getting angry, collected 2 green cards also, because tempers were running high. There was also disappointment of that semi-final defeat, which was very close, and also a sense of hurt that semi-final had to be played without Amit Rohidas, not only India's top defender, but also the best penalty corner rusher in the world. We talk a lot about penalty corner hitters, drag flickers, but penalty corner defense is as important for a team as penalty corner hitting, because the other side will always get a penalty corner specialist as well. Every team in the world, every top team has a top quality drag flicker. Germans, for example, have the best in the world. We told you the story in the previous episode of how he had scored a hat-trick of goals against Germany in the 2016 Olympics semi-final, and Germans liked him so much after that Olympics, Argentina went on to win the gold. Germans liked him so much that they thought instead of having him score goals against him like that, why not buy him out? So they got him into Germany, gave him a German passport, he played for them. When he was taking penalty corner shots for Germany against India, India did not have not only a player who's not only India's best rusher. A rusher, just as the ball is injected, you see a player on the baseline who injects the ball, another one stops the ball, and then the hitter or drag flicker hits it towards the goal. Just as the ball is injected, you will see a couple of people rushing forward. They rush forward. One is the main rusher who rushes towards the penalty corner hitter or drag flicker to distract him at the minimum, but more importantly, more likely to clear the ball because he's able to hit it, or if he's still able to hit it, to take the ball on his body if need be, or be able to stop it with a stick, etc. If he takes it on the body, that leads to a foul and a repeat penalty corner. That's why many penalty corners result in many other penalty corners, one leading to the other. But the man who stands against a champion drag flicker or penalty corner hitter is your rusher, the main rusher. That main rusher is Amit Rohidas. Amit Rohidas was missing in that semi-final. So maybe there was a sense of that hurt also today. And you could see today the difference that Amit Rohidas made, because today in that scrappy defense, because Indian defense did lose cohesion a few times, in that scrappy defense, several times Spain got penalty corners, even successive penalty corners. But if they were not able to score even one goal, Pierre Srijesh in the goal played his role there for sure. But also don't forget Don't forget the figure of brave Amit Rohidas, rushing each time and taking it upon himself. In fact, in some cases, making out a completely clean clearance, taking the ball and sending it out into the play to the midfield. So that is the man that was missing. You also saw the doughty Rajkumar Pal, in fact, go back to that shootout against Great Britain. See who takes the fourth shot for India. The player who goes on one side and looks like he's losing his way, but he's actually drawing the British goalkeeper out. And once he gets him out, just as when you think the time is running out, he slips the ball into the goal. That is Rajkumar Pal. Read his story. His father died in 2011 when he was a kid. Father was a driver. He's from the Pal community. His mother worked as a day laborer to bring him up. A lot of the team has that story. Sukhjit Singh, for example, you've seen him play like a tiger in these Olympics. He also got himself a green card today, but he had been paralyzed waist down because of a training injury, and he was told he'll never walk again in his life. During COVID, his father worked with him. Brought him back to his feet, and today he's the kingpin of this Indian team as well. These are all stories of enormous fighting spirit from these underdogs. I'm talking also in a little bit more detail about Amit Rohidas, because Amit Rohidas also personifies the story we are going to tell you today. I know everybody loves cricket. I also love cricket. I also love Olympic sport. I'm also hoping that greater coverage of Olympic sports like this will get more Indians interested. One reason Indian hockey declined so badly was that Indian fans lost interest in hockey because they loved hockey. They had, in fact, a much greater emotional commitment to hockey as long as India was winning. Then India stopped winning. 1964 was India's last gold medal at Tokyo. India beat Pakistan in the final. In fact, until 1956, India was winning every gold medal. Then, 1947, Pakistan came into being and they built a great team. 1960, for the first time, they denied us the gold. 1964, we beat them. But 1968 onwards, we did not get a gold. 1968 was the bronze, the first time we did not make the final. 1972 was again a bronze. And then 76, a blank. In fact, between 1972 and 1980 was a period when hockey was declining in many ways and cricket was rising, because 71, 72 is when India won those away series under Ajit Wadekar in the West Indies and in England, and that's when we saw the rise of the spin quartet and also Sunil Gavaskar and Gundappa Vishwanath. So hockey started going into decline. 1975, India won the Hockey World Cup. It was a high point. 1980, at Moscow, India won an Olympic medal, in fact, a gold medal. However, it needs to be said that it was a very truncated Olympics because of the invasion of Afghanistan the previous year. All of the Western world, which means all of the European world, had boycotted those Olympics, which means none of the top teams was there. There was no Germany, no Netherlands, no Great Britain, none of the great European teams was there. No Belgium, of course. I'm not sure if Belgium would have qualified at that point. The only European team that still played there was Spain, because Spain wasn't boycotting that Olympics. And even there, the final was played between India and Spain. And it was a very, very tough match which went on till the last second, not very different from the match that was played today, because today with just a few seconds to go, Spain got another penalty corner and you thought maybe something was going to happen at the last moment and this match would also go into a penalty shootout. That fortunately did not happen. Now, why did I say I was particularly mentioning Amit Rohidas? That's because we've had a view. I've had a view. I wrote something about it almost 4 years ago, I think in 2021. And that was a national interest column headlined United Colors of Indian Hockey. Now, what do we mean by United Colors of Indian Hockey? First of all, let me read for you the team sheet of this Indian hockey team. 16 players, and a couple of reserves. PR Srijesh, everybody knows him. PR Srijesh, Jarmanpreet Singh, Amit Rohidas, we'll come back to him. Manpreet Singh, Sumit Balmiki, Sanjay Rana in fact, Rajkumar Pal, Shamsher Singh, Manpreet Singh, Hardik Singh, Vivek Sagar Prasad, Abhishek, Sukhjit Singh, Lalit Kumar Upadhyay, Mandeep Singh, Gurjant Singh. These are the 16 who went out to play, and then the 3 reserves were Nilakanta Sharma, Jugraj Singh and KB Pathak. Does this team list tell you something? Compare this with any Indian cricket team list. At the very minimum, at first glance, this will tell you that Indian hockey is a lot more diverse and inclusive, is a much better, much deeper representative of Indian diversity than Indian cricket team has been as yet. In fact, cricket has been getting more inclusive over the past 10-15 years, particularly since IPL came in and particularly since merit became so important. And I will talk about that in a little bit more detail. But even if you look at this team, you see this diversity. Amit Rohidas, the key player, where does Amit Rohidas come from? I will share with you an article or two on Amit Rohidas from sports journalists, also an Al Jazeera documentary. Now, what does this documentary tell us? It tells us that it's in the East Central Tribal India, where the poorest Indians live, the poorest Indians, for most of whom the best news in life is to get a day laborer's job on a construction site, right? From those families, these talented people arise, Indian tribals. Amit Rohidas is one of them, and he had also started out like that. And then, as they do better, they usually play hockey with a bamboo stick or something that they make at home, as his father did, Amit Rohidas's father did. And then they grow. And there a great role has been played also by some hockey academies in these tribal districts. Now, of course, Naveen Patnaik in Bhubaneswar has set up a wonderful hockey academy where a lot of this talent comes and plays. So that's what Amit Rohidas represents. Again, you see, there are eight from Punjab. Amrinder Singh said this the last time India got a bronze in Tokyo. He said there are 8 players from Punjab. He didn't say 6, but there were 8 players from Punjab. This is the diversity that Indian hockey has always had. And that's the reason we say caste, ethnicity, religion, united colors of Indian hockey prove the game thrives in inclusivity. It's impossible to find an Indian hockey team that doesn't reflect the diversity, the united colors better than any other team. Shows that a sport or a nation will prosper with growing inclusivity. So the original article on this I had written after the Indian women's hockey team lost at the Tokyo Olympics, but they made it to last 4. This time, unfortunately, they could not qualify because there was much mess at the federation level. Coach after coach left and the team was broken. They failed to qualify, which was a tragedy. It was a tragedy for hockey because team was coming up well. They came very close to a medal in Tokyo. Nevertheless, on the day they lost in the semi-final in Tokyo Olympics to Argentina, 2 men hit the headlines for creating a shameful nuisance of a celebration, a mocking celebration, of course, a celebration around the home of Vandana Kataria, among the deadliest strikers on display at Tokyo Olympics. She also scored the first ever Olympic hat-trick for an Indian woman in the crucial league match against South Africa in Tokyo Olympics, and that took India to semi-finals, a history-making event. Why the ugly celebration then? Because the men were supposedly upper caste and Vandana comes from a Dalit family. There was also buzz coming out of local media reports that this ugliness was owing to the fact that women's hockey team had too many Dalits, etc. On which point, let me also tell you, if you see this Indian team sheet, or if you read those names again, there is also a wonderful defender there called Sumit Kumar Balmiki. Also check out his Instagram page, right? At the age of 9, I will share with you an article from Mint that gives you the details. At the age of 9, he joined other boys from his family to work as a cleaner on the dhabas at Murthal. Murthal is where people going from Delhi towards Punjab, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, to all the places Vaishno Devi, that is where people make a stop for their paratha meals. In fact, many people just drive to Murthal for their parathas. He started working from the age of 9 as a cleaner at those dhabas. And from there, he played hockey in whatever time he could find, because for him, hockey was his ticket or his bus or his window to a new world. And hockey was fair to him. That's how you saw him. He was such an integral part of this Indian defense, and so calm and so much in control. That is the reason we said that these attacks, this mocking of Vandana Kataria was a national embarrassment, and we also asked for a strict action against the vandals. Although Vandana's brother had then been quoted as saying that officers at the police station were not paying attention to his complaints. Her village, by the way, is Roshanabad in Hardwar district of Uttarakhand. I am, however, seeking inspiration from Vandana Kataria's story and also from the story that has emerged now from Paris to venture into hazardous territory and ask, what is it about hockey more than most other sports, especially cricket, that represents India's diversity so much better? Diversity of not just caste, but ethnicity, geography, and also religion. I also know that I am venturing into hazardous territory. Why do I call it hazardous territory? Because the upper castes, we the elites of India, the upper castes make most of our debating and social media universe hate to talk about caste type regressive issues that take India backwards, right? Just watch, I'm putting all these single quotes, single quotes on caste, single quotes on regressive, and single quotes on backwards. See the outrage when someone talks of the traditionally upper caste makeup of the Indian cricket teams. So many Brahmins playing in the cricket team. If you just said that, somebody said that on Twitter or someplace, it will immediately provoke an outrage, because we tend to get defensive. So sharp is the reaction that most of us are chicken even to state a simple fact. But let me state it for you, that India's cricket has risen as a game to the top in the world as it has become more inclusive. Or let me ask a question. If India's cricket revolution is built around the rise of enormous pace bowling talent, so India can field 4 pacers in a test match in Australia, South Africa, anywhere. 4 pacers in a test match, 4 deadly pacers in a test match, each with a top class strike rate. If you can field 4 of them in a test match anywhere while having more than a couple on the bench, where has it come from? I'm sorry, people, if somebody lets this hurt their Savarna pride quite unnecessarily, because everybody is an Indian. So don't go down that route. But Indian cricket has become more talented, more aggressive, energetic, and successful as it has become more inclusive. Once again, look at that fast bowling pack. Maybe list 10 of the topmost fast bowlers in Indian cricket today, and you will know where I'm coming from. They represent a lot of the Indians who would not have made it to Indian cricket teams of the past, which is the reason, or maybe one of the reasons, that Indian cricket teams of the past never had fast bowling. Today, India has the best fast bowling attack, the most complete fast bowling attack in the world. Why? Because Indian cricket team has become more inclusive. It has not happened because of any reservations or affirmative action of the kind, say, that South Africa has. No, because when the market works, then inclusivity comes in by itself. When the market forces work, then merit does recognize. You cannot hide away merit then, because the answer to inequality is not changing the law or state action, government action. The better answer is the market, because the market ultimately is fair. To win in the market, everybody wants to win in the market. To win in the market, you have to get the best merit. And that's where merit gets recognized. That's what's happened to Indian cricket now. And that's how it's become a world-beating team. Never mind what's happening in Sri Lanka right now. That is some kind of an ODI farce that's being played. It is to the credit of the team, the Indian cricket team, and the BCCI leadership, that a true meritocracy has been built there as well. There is something about hockey, on the other hand, that it has always been the game of the underdog. Minorities, tribals, subaltern classes and castes. We can't talk sociology, but we can surely cite history and facts. Muslims, Sikhs in the past, Anglo-Indians, tribals from the most impoverished East Central plains, that is Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Manipuris, Kodawas have for decades chosen hockey as the stage to display their talent. We know that the Punjab Chief Minister Balbir Singh and others were criticized for reminding the country that 8 of the men who put India on the bronze podium in Tokyo were from his state. Even now, 8 of those men are from his state. He didn't say they were 6, but we don't need a reminder. Fact and history, we promise we will rely on, not sociology. We go back, therefore, to Indian hockey's first appearance at the Olympics in 1928, Amsterdam. Dhyan Chand was in the team, but the captain was a man who, in official records, goes merely as Jaipal Singh. The full name, however, is Jaipal Singh Munda. Remember the legend of Birsa Munda from Jharkhand? Birsa Munda was a tribal freedom fighter. He is now called Bhagwan Birsa Munda. On his anniversary, every year you will find Prime Minister Modi and all political leaders from other major parties pay tributes to Bhagwan Birsa Munda. So he was from the same tribe, Jaipal Singh Munda. India's first Olympic gold came under the captaincy of a child of a deeply impoverished tribal family in Jharkhand. Not sure any major sport in India can make that claim. That was only the beginning of a rich tradition where East Central tribal India has consistently produced hockey talent. And again, for some reason we can't explain, a line of doughty defenders. In the recent teams, in the women's team, Deep Grace Eka, Salima Tete for women. Salima Tete, by the way, is an attacker and also features in that Al Jazeera documentary on tribals, Indian tribals and hockey. And Birinder Lakra and Amit Rohidas for men, except Salima, as I said, who's a striker outside right. The rest have all been defenders. Three or four current defenders do not make a trend, you think? Remember some of the most pugnacious defenders in the most recent decades. If you watched any hockey at all, Michael Kindo was the other half with Surjit Singh in the World Cup that India won, the only World Cup that India won in 1975. He imposed a curfew on his side. That's what he was told. He was a tribal from East Central India. And Dilip Tirki, he was a deep defender also, later joined politics, became a member of parliament, also became a hockey administrator. And by the way, Dilip Tirki, who's from tribal Odisha, he is the president of Hockey India, what goes for the Indian Hockey Federation or Indian Hockey Association, the top hockey body in the country. So credit also to him for India's continued growth in hockey. The tribal tradition was institutionalized by wonderful academies in tribal heartlands, Khunti in Jharkhand and Sundargarh, and around in Odisha, leading India to its first Olympic gold out of the way. Once he had got that Olympic gold out of the way, Jaipal Singh Munda went on to his other important goals. In his early childhood, a British pastor's family had taken him under its wings. He was sent to study at Oxford, where he excelled, had the option of going to ICS, but said no. He preferred to work for India and in India rather than spend his life in the ICS. He was a member of our Constituent Assembly as a representative of the tribals, just as you might say Ambedkar was for the Dalits or scheduled castes or as Harijans as was the usage then. And generations of Indians today and also going ahead should thank Jaipal Singh Munda every time we sip in our single malt, our favorite single malt, or any other favorite spirit, even hooch, tharra, whatever we want, beer, wine, anything we choose or a cocktails. He saved us. Jaipal Singh Munda saved us from the imminent danger of compulsory nationwide prohibition. Can you imagine if all of India had prohibition like Bihar? Besides everything else, a lot of us would have been forced to become criminals under that law. How did Jaipal Singh Munda save us? The mood in the Constituent Assembly, in the Gandhian environment was that there should be compulsory prohibition in India. But Jaipal Singh Munda dug his heels in. Drinking is a tradition with us tribals. He said, who the hell are you people to ban it? That won the day. Coming back to hockey, however, that Indian first team had eight Anglo-Indians. Among them, goalkeeper Richard Allen, born in Nagpur and educated at Oak Grove, Mussoorie and St. Joseph's, Nainital. He did not concede a single goal in that entire tournament. If I am digressing here and there, that's also to underline the fact that all sport has colorful history, folklore and its characters, not just cricket. That's the reason I went from hockey to the Constitution, to the Constituent Assembly and to prohibition and how we escaped it. Nevertheless, let's carry on. Of the rest, in that first hockey team, I told you 8 were Anglo-Indians. Of the rest, 3 were Muslim, 1 Sikh and 1 young Dhyan Chand. And of course, a Jharkhand tribal as captain. By the following Olympics, the number of Muslims and Sikhs were rising. This is why partition delivered such a blow to Indian hockey. A lot of the talent went away to Pakistan and the country became the first to deny India the Olympic gold in 1960. Because partition was still fresh on our minds, Pakistan was our main new rival and they were wars with it. Until the early 1970s, not many Muslims featured in the Indian national team. There is also the infamous case of the Bhopal striker Inamur Rahman, brilliant Bhopal striker Inamur Rahman, who was taken with the team, I think, to Mexico, probably to Montreal as well as 92, but not really trusted, definitely not against Pakistan. That was a bad decade for Muslim players, Muslim talent in Indian hockey. Things, however, changed. Subsequently, a star cast of Muslim hockey stars had risen. Mohammad Shahid and Zafar Iqbal captained India, among others. The trendsetter was, of course, defender Aslam Sher Khan. Check out the 1975 World Cup in Kuala Lumpur if you can find those archives. The only time India became champions. In the semi-final against Malaysia, the hosts, India were a goal down with minutes to go for the hooter. They were winning a lot of penalty corners. There was no drag flick those days. It wasn't allowed. India were winning many penalty corners. But Surjit Singh, who was among the best hitters in the world, by the way, those days there was no drag flick allowed. In Surjit Singh and Michael Kindo, we had great talent for penalty corner hitting, but even with their really heavy sticks, they were failing to convert. A penalty corner in the 65th minute, the game was then for 70 minutes. Now it's 60, 4 quarters of 15 each. A penalty corner in the 65th minute was the last hope. And coach Balbir Singh Sr., triple Olympic gold medalist, 1948, 1952, 1956, and listed by the International Olympic Committee among the greatest athletes of all times. The only Indian in that Hall of Fame with Bob Beamon, Jesse Owens, etc. He's there. He also featured in a 2-part Walk the Talk that I recorded in 2014 in Chandigarh. He took a chance, or maybe took a punt, and called in Aslam Sher Khan, the spare defender who had mostly spent his time on the bench waiting because India already had 2 of the world's best defenders in the field, Surjit Singh and Michael Kindo. So he called in Aslam Sher Khan from the bench to take this life and death shot. If you can find that footage, watch young Aslam walk on the burning deck, kiss his amulet, all of India watching. We didn't have a TV at home, so we had to go to somebody's home and watch it black and white. He kissed his amulet and slammed the equalizer in. It took the match into extra time, and then the striker, centre forward Harcharan Singh, scored to settle the issue. Aslam later joined politics, as we know, and became an MP. Post-partition, he opened the door to Indian hockey for its Muslims. In fact, that is how so much more talent came out of Bhopal as well. I leave it to you to Google the squads of all our national hockey teams for the decades since that 1975 World Cup victory. And you will find this pattern get even stronger. Every Indian team, men or women, reflects India's diversity in its fullest glory. Manipur's Meiteis are a tiny community of just over 1 million. In Tokyo, they had Nilakanta Sharma in the men's team. By the way, you may not have seen a Manipuri playing in Paris now, but Nilakanta Sharma was still there among the 3 reserves. In Tokyo, he was there playing in the men's team, and Sushila Chanu in the women's team. You want to check the recent decades? Thoiba Singh, Kothajit, Chingal Sena, Neil Kamal Singh. Seen somebody from the Northeast break into the national cricket team yet? Riyan Prayag has now come in from Assam, which is good news. Now, evidence that I've followed Indian hockey a little bit closely through these decades, you will also find links to some Walk the Talk episodes with Balbir Singh, the man I spoke about, the triple Olympian gold medalist, Balbir Singh, and in a way, four, because he was the manager and coach when India won the World Cup. So Balbir Singh Senior, two-part episode, Sardara Singh, who was Indian captain and a star, Dhanraj Pillai, who can forget him, then women stars, Ritu Rani and Sushila Chanu, and KPS Gill, because he also headed Indian hockey for some time as an administrator, although I wasn't quite happy with the way he ran it. There are also two Australian coaches who came and worked with Indian hockey team. I'm struggling to find those links on NDTV's website, but I will look for them. One of them was Rick Charlesworth, the other Terry Walsh. If you are of my generation and followed Olympic hockey in the 70s, you would know that all of the world lived in their dread, because they were members of the greatest Australian hockey team ever, which, by the way, never won a World Cup or an Olympic gold. Those things happen in sport. What is it that has made hockey the sport of the underdog for 100 years? Don't ask me. I can only state this reality and remind you that Indian cricket's rise also has coincided with its growing inclusivity. It should settle the pointless debate over caste and merit. I know the rabble I am rousing, but this isn't against the upper castes. They have talent, everybody has talent. Because a nation will prosper when it reaches out to seek talent in whichever social stratum it exists. Anytime you have that doubt, read the team sheet of this Indian squad.